Return to court. I'd like to call the January 13th, 2014 Personnel Finance Committee meeting to order. Are there any changes to the agenda? Or if not, I need a motion and support to approve the agenda. We have motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Passes unanimously. Next up, we have first round of public comment.
Good afternoon, John Wilson. On your agenda today, under 4C, Finance Budget Adjustments, a memo here from the Director of Finance he's requesting that the committee approve a budget amendment for the Jackson County Department of Transportation of $115,000 in additional other governmental revenue. And the analysis under 3B from his memo, it states that for the JTOT Road Fund, it is anticipated that the contract with Calhoun County will result in an additional revenue shown as and included as other government contributions of $115,000. No additional expenditure budget is being requested. This revenue will go to fund balance in Fund 201. Anyways, it says that it's anticipated. So, has Jackson County actually received any revenues from Calhoun County? Okay. Again, just, I caught the anticipated, so it's good to know that we're starting to collect, and if I still can't find anywhere under a Jackson County Department of Transportation budget anything regarding this, but I'll discuss that, at another time with Mr. Overton. Okay, thank you very much.
Is there any other public comment? Any other public comment? Public comment is closed. Next up, we move to the minutes of December 9th, 2013. Are there any corrections to the minutes? If not, I need a motion and support to approve.
So moved.
Motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, passes unanimously. Thank you. Next up, we have committee item B Finance, report for November 13th. Welcome, Jim.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to report on two things under the monthly financial report, and that is we'll talk about the results for November and also talk about some factors and projection numbers for the year 2013. For November, our benchmark, again, is 91.7%, 11 months, and so the actual expenditures through November is 88.8%, so we're underspent, and if we prorate the budget, it shows that we're underspent by over $1 million. However, I caution, as I did last month, the month of December, typically we spend over $3.5 million. In other words, the spending level is higher for December to get all our expenditures in for the year. Other comments, pretty much the expenditures are pretty much on track based on historical trends and based on the budget. I have some comments to make about the revenue for the year, but I would entertain any questions you might have about November's statements first.
Okay, no discussion or questions? Moving on to item C,
Well, I have some
Bring yourself more
comments. In terms of the results for 2013, on the revenue side, there's some good news here. The 12th District Court cost, ordinance fines, and fees are over budget, and part of that is due to a policy change that occurred back in June or July of 2013 where the court increased their fees. So there's additional revenue for both of those sources of about $425,000. Other items of revenue that are above budget, which is the good news, gun permits are up by $25,000 for the year. Also, under the Register of Deeds office, the transfer tax and proceedings revenue is up by about $100,000 or more, which is indicative of additional real estate activity within the county. Under the Treasurer's Department, property taxes are up slightly. I'm not sure the amount until we book the final receivable for the year. Dog licenses are up by $10,000. And also revenue sharing. Lansing came through, and I think I mentioned this last month. There's an additional $50,000 of revenue sharing, and that's due to the so-called fourth or fifth quarter payment where the state settles up on the additional business and sales tax revenue. Also, the jail boarding revenue is up by around about $125,000. However, animal shelter revenues are down by 15. So if we net all of that out, that comes to roughly $450,000. I'm trying to account for some other differences. So revenues in total, I anticipate, are about $450,000 more than what we had budgeted. On the expenditure side, as you can see, we're underspent, we're under the pace. So to summarize this, our budget for 2013, as adjusted, said that we would use $595,000 worth of the fund balance. I think that we'll come out much better than that. Probably we will use $300,000 to $400,000 of the fund balance. Again, this is tentative. I have to caution this always, that this is based on estimates. This is based on the numbers as I see them and trying to project forward. So. Okay. We have some budget amendments for 2013 to take care of the additional differences between the budget and the actual transactions. If we speak of the general fund, again, general fund is revenue and expenditure neutral. However, if we look at the differences between each department, the area of concern, the public defender line or key is up by $79,000, and this is due to the nature and number of cases that have occurred this year. As if you have more felony trials or more murder trials, then the cost of defense is higher than anticipated. However, to offset that, there's some savings involved both in circuit court and district court. So the savings involved on those items more than paid for the additional public defender costs. There's some other minor, some other adjustments that occurred during the year, but again, the net for the general fund is net zero. So mainly we're cleaning up those line items that were different than anticipated. And I'm sorry, that's the general fund comment. Continuing, the Parks Fund, there was again, it is still a net zero in terms of the net changes. However, there was increased cost due to, it's really a one-time, I'm told that each year the cost of the fireworks can vary depending upon the cost involved each year. However, there is offsetting donations that pick up the additional cost. So the additional cost of around $20,000 under special events was due to the increased fireworks and other entertainment. But again, and I'm not showing offsetting revenue, but I was able to net all the other expenses of the park fund to net to zero. So, and then there was some additional cost in the airport fund and that was covered by additional rent and so forth. So, I can, if you will. And again, this is, what this consists of is the billings that JDOT does to Calhoun County. And again, there's really two components of that. One is 1/2 of Jerry Peterson's salary, the managing director's salary, is in there. And also the cost of salaries and equipment that is used for the benefit of Calhoun County. So that was an amount that was not previously budgeted in JDOT.
So this is,
Yes, again, that may be one of the, that's the way I chose to phrase it. When I say anticipated revenues, that's what we mean by budgeting, is that we're anticipating, collecting X dollars and so forth.
May I comment?
yes.
Thank you. I would just comment too that, point out that this is only about 6 months
Yes.
of revenue there, and we worked with Calhoun on this. So we can anticipate it to, that to be, potentially double that next year if things continue as we currently are. And I do want to remind the board that it's a two-way street. They do things for us, and therefore we would be sending dollars their way when they do things for us. Like, for instance, they have a full-time purchasing agent in Calhoun. We do not. So we anticipate some not only economy of scale to be garnered there, but in the same time, we would be paying for that service from them as well. So it's a two-way street.
Discussion, Commissioner Lechka, please.
In that same vein, if we don't have to hire a purchasing director, so we're saving money there. There's also the exchange of equipment that is not done on a cash basis. It's kind of netted through the rental charges that both counties are charged to. So I think the 115 isn't indicative of the total savings or the total benefit that we received
True,
the
it's
last
the net.
6 months.
The net.
Further discussion? If there's no further discussion, I need a motion and support to send this to the full board. Motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, none. Apparently it passes, and we'll move to the full board. Next up, we have Department of Aging, item E, Department of Aging budget adjustment. Motion and support, no discussion. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? None. Thank you very much. Move to the full board. Next up, we have item F, park vehicle purchase. This is purchasing a new 2014 four-wheel drive vehicle, work vehicle. It comes out of budgeted funds. Just a request to go ahead with the purchase. Any discussion?
Move to support the purchase.
Question.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Discussion.
Did I see Rick hiding behind the post there? Rick, I think if I read it right, you're going to plan on putting the plow on it ourselves. Is that the plan?
That's correct.
Oh. Rick, how'd you throw your voice like that?
Good together. In stereo.
Wow. My only thought on that is, if it were provided by the dealership or the factory, would it not be with a factory warranty? That would be better than our doing it ourselves, or not? No?
It would be the same, yeah.
Okay.
And we have a savings of a little over $1,500 by doing it ourselves.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? None. Motion carries. Next up, we have item G. This is presented by the Administrator Controller. It'd be our timely reporting of accident policy, policy number 7090. A discussion?
Aye.
Motion and support?
Support. And I guess I say, we discussed this at the work session, and it seems like a very...
Discussed out.
I think discussed out, yeah, and I think it's a
All
very,
right.
very good policy.
Excellent, thank you. Then we'll proceed to vote. All in favor indicate by saying aye. 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 Those opposed? None. Passes unanimously. Move on to item H, Administrator Controller's item. It's a reclassification of a fair position. I think this has been discussed. Anything you need to,
Nothing unless someone has questions or concerns.
questions to concerns, discussion?
Just a question for a point of discussion. Would there have been a benefit to phasing this in over a little bit longer period of time, number one? And number two, and maybe it's in the document here that I haven't caught, but originally that position, I think, was designed to just be a part-time position, was it not? And it gravitated to a full-time position. Doesn't mean it's not worthy of it, just for a point of discussion, I think.
Comment was, remember, we had Brandon working at the fair with Denise, and that expressed a great amount of that time that was there. So with that teamwork not being there, I guess I can see it justified.
Mike, is it not accurate that it was a part-time position initially? No?
It's not to my knowledge. It's been a full-time going back for forever.
Yep.
I believe it's because in all intents and purposes, it's the fair manager is really what it is, the operations manager there.
And then would there have been a benefit in phasing it in over time?
Well, yes, there would have been, one could argue that. However, one could also argue that the individual doing the work has been underpaid for the last few years and when she assumed responsibility for this position.
Okay. Yeah, I don't doubt the good work she does there. I just thought it was worthy of discussion, so.
Commissioner Rice?
Actually, Commissioner Elwell got it answered from the administrator, but I too would question whether or not we could phase this in. Jumping from grade 8 to grade 13 seems to be quite a one-time jump. Obviously, everybody has known for a long time the work that she has been doing, and now at this point we're jumping that quickly. I just, again, thought maybe a phasing in might be something to look at as well.
Commissioner Lutchka?
Just a comment, though. You could phase it in, but make it retroactive.
Exactly.
No, we don't do that.
I guess my take on this is our director down there has grown with the position. Her responsibilities has been accepted, and she's probably exceeding what was expected, and she needs to be compensated for it fairly. Commissioner Lutchka?
This last weekend was the Fair Convention in Grand Rapids, and we met with most of the large vendors that we deal with at the fair. And I was there, talked to them. Every single one of them said she's by far the best person to work with in the state. When they ask for something, it's done. I mean, and she's a go-getter, and so, I mean, it's, those kinds of things make you blow your chest up.
I was just going to say that it's not like we're going backwards and saying we'd like to retroactively pay her, but certainly to leave a person in a position and not compensate them would certainly not be something I could support.
Just two more things. One, I assume the Fair Board supports this, and number two, the document talks about how the money's there in the budget. The fair has been running course, well in the black. We anticipate that that'll continue running in the black, so that money's continuing to be there to support the increased salary, I assume. Thank you.
One other comment on my part is, I do have concerns about such a large jump in 1 year, but we've had a job classification study done and find out that her classification actually exceeded what she was being paid. I would, I'd like to have broken the stepping, or the stepped up compensation into 2 years, but I think the problem is we should have done it last year. Part of it last year and part of it this year, and so I'm going to be supporting this. Thank you. Okay. Then we'll proceed to vote. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? None. Passes unanimously. Thank you, Board. Move on to item 5, other business. We need to pay the claims. Motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Thank you, Board. Passes unanimously. See no other minutes, no other reporting schedules. Go to item 6, public comment. Any public comment, second round? Apparently, no public comment. Committee member comments. Any committee member comments? If not, meeting adjourned.